the new earth is basically the manifestation of the evolved human in consciousness. We are the flowering consciousness of earth. We have to go deep within, and that means knowing ourselves. You might become more authentic and start living a life that is true to you, to who you are, your truth. We all come from something that is beyond our mind and our bodies, the I amness, the God within. You're living from this place where you're seeing from the eyes of this higher consciousness. Therefore, you are living your higher life, your higher path, where there are no conditions attached to this peaceful, silent, emanating, vibrant love. We have to realize that we're part of a bigger organism called Earth. Because the idea is not to escape Earth. It's not to escape this third dimensional reality. It's to really be part of it. So to shift into a new Earth, we have to become a new human. As we begin to deepen our consciousness, we will currently living at the beginning stages of a great shift. And this is a planetary evolution. We have never seen this many awakened people at once on Earth. We are witnessing and participating in this unraveling of an ancient prophecy called the New Earth. And the New Earth is basically a manifestation of a new and higher consciousness. And this is bringing heaven on Earth. We are connecting our human body to the divinity within us. And we are bringing that, we are becoming the embodiment of the divine. So the new Earth is basically the manifestation of the evolved human in consciousness. And this is the first time that Earth is going through this kind of evolutionary transition, and where it's really about a much higher and deeper level of consciousness. And this is a different kind of evolution. This is not the usual gradual and progressive evolution in a natural order. You could see this evolution more as like a jump or a leap, an evolutionary stage. However, we have to look at it from the point of view of Earth, and Earth has been around way longer than humans have. So this is Earth evolving, and we are just a part of it. We are the flowering consciousness of Earth. So it's important to understand that when I say a jump or a leap in evolution, it is in terms of Earth's timeline. So from the human point of view, it might look like a long time because this is not something that'll happen in a lifetime. But if you zoom out from the timeline of Earth, there's never been this level of fastness and vastness in evolution. Whereas in the past, it may have taken hundreds of thousands of years to reach the next evolutionary stage, this is going to be more of a blip. This is about consciousness, and in order to deepen our level of consciousness, we have to go deep within, and that means knowing ourselves on 3 different planes. It's important to work on them simultaneously, all together, and I know that there are some people who will be a lot more focused on one level than the others, but I encourage you to look into them and to become more familiar with them and to work on them at the same time. The first level of consciousness is at the human level, and this is basically everything that has to do with your psychology, your psyche, and your level of self-awareness. And this brings about the ability to get to know yourself on a deeper level. And this is basically shining the light of consciousness onto the unconscious and subconscious parts of yourself that is driving your life. And by doing this type of inner work, you could bring a lot of healing into your life, and it could start to have an impact on the quality and well-being of you and your life. Self-awareness is the consciousness on the human level. And this is the level where we become aware of our patterns, of our darkness, of our unconsciousness, of our subconscious that drives our lives. And Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. So Carl Jung called this part our shadows. And this is a part of us that we're not too proud to show in public. So we'll keep it hidden. We'll keep it repressed and suppressed. And we might even be in denial of these aspects of ourselves. We don't want to show others that we have this within us. It's the jealousy, it's the envy, the aggression, the anger, the shame. It's our impulses and our unsolved traumas and triggers. And through shadow work, one can really deepen their level of self-awareness and by going to the root cause of these shadows. And we can begin to heal. We can begin to gain clarity and self-awareness. And we can become free of what used to hold us back. And we can start creating a reality that we desire, that we want. You're starting to create new neural pathways in your brain. And because as within, so without, you begin to create new pathways in your life. And you start to become more intentional with the way you think, act, and feel. To look back and to take full responsibility and accountability for the results that are taking shape in your life is the starting point to take conscious steps moving forward. So by looking deep within, you are now able to see clearly the path that you're on in the direction that you want it to take. You might become more authentic and start living a life that is true to you, to who you are, to your values and your truth. The truth is, we are still human. And even if you have awakened, you can still be an asshole. You can still be arrogant. And so this is why we need to practice both levels of consciousness. You have to show yourself a lot of grace and a lot of forgiveness and patience with yourself. Now, having said that, working solely on the human level of consciousness is actually limited because you are still thinking, no matter how deep you think you know yourself, you still think that that's who you are. But the truth is, that's quite limiting because that's actually not who you really are. Now, the spirit level of consciousness, this is the level that is beyond the human form. We all come from something that is beyond our mind and our bodies. And this is what you might call the higher self. This is the true self. This is your truest nature. This is at the very core, the root of who you are. And it is intangible. This isn't destructible. And it's not visible. This is what you might call spirit. And this is the true self. And this is essentially the idea of coming back to who you really are, to this divinity aspect of yourself, the I amness, the God within. And coming back to your true self, oftentimes it'll feel like home. There's a great sense of relief that comes from it because you're releasing everything that you thought you were, that you were identified with, that you were attached to, these self-concepts and self-identities. It's the realization that you're so much more, but at the same time that you're nothing. I know that this might sound like a paradox, but by becoming nothing, you become everything. And that comes with a great sense of relief. And this is where you can start experiencing true inner peace, true joy and bliss, because you are no longer attached to all of these elements and external factors that you thought you were, that you were made to believe since you were young. There's a much deeper divine aspect deep within you, and this is your true self. And believe this and know this and realize this. Now you're living from a place of beingness. You're living from this place where you're seeing also from the eyes of this higher consciousness. Therefore, you are living your higher life, your higher path. This is the place where there are no worries. This is the place where you recognize the perfection in everything that just is, the way it is without wanting to change anything or anyone. This is the definition of unconditional love, where there are no conditions attached to this peaceful, silent, emanating, vibrant love. The more you connect to your higher self, to your true self, to spirit, this is how you begin to live a life that is spirit-led, a spirit-led life. And it'll become a lot harder to depend your happiness on external factors, because this is the ever-present consciousness of joy and peace and freedom. Now, this is truly the idea of bringing heaven on earth, because heaven is the divinity within you. This is the spiritual aspect of you that is beyond name and form, right? The spirit, it doesn't die. You're just coming into the human body, into this costume that comes with all these features and personality, but you're essentially this eternal being that can't really die. And so it's the body, it's the character that'll die, but your spirit goes on. Adyashanti said this about freedom and about awakening. If you choose freedom, life will become magical. The life you'll step into is one in which the self is hidden in agreement with your humanness. The self begins to harmonize with your life, and it may proceed in a way that you could never have predicted. The magical part is that the more you let go, the better it feels. And the third layer of consciousness is Earth consciousness. Earth consciousness is about how she is right here, right now, and us connecting to Earth as part of the realization that not only are we part of Earth, we are Earth. We are Earthlings, and humans are the flowering of Earth's consciousness. We have to realize that we're part of a bigger organism called Earth, and realizing this is going to reduce the sense of separateness. The more we will realize that our neighbors, our fellow humans around us, and the animals and the vegetation are our brothers and sisters, and that by hurting another being is essentially like hurting ourselves, right? And it's the same concept with our body. You don't have one cell that tries to compete with another. I mean, unless it's a cancerous cell. And a cancerous cell is one that is not in harmony with the rest of the body. It is one that is selfish, right? That wants to take more for itself. It's taking away, it's sucking out the life out of you. And so we don't want to be those cancerous cells for Earth. We want to be one that is in harmony and in coherence with one another, understanding that everybody has their own place, and by not trying to mimic another or trying another one to have mimic us, it's taking our own seat and realizing our own sovereignty and our place in it, and that we have a role here to play. Have you seen this incredible phenomenon of just a group of birds flocking together? This phenomenon is called murmuration. And these birds, when you look at them from afar, they look like one organism. They look like one being because they're all in tune with another. They're not going against each other and bumping into one another. That would create chaos. It would create a domino effect of chaos. And so there's something to learn about these birds where they are moving as one organism, and they are in harmony with each other. And so it isn't enough to understand this Earth consciousness on an intellectual level. We have to become Earth. And in order to do this, it will take some groundedness and some intentional meditation to connect to Earth and to become one with her. You really have to feel and become Earth, and you have to understand on a spiritual level from Earth's consciousness that you are her, right? We are Earthlings, and we are part of this bigger organism that is holding us within her womb. Another way to become in tune with her is to follow Earth's tempo and her rhythm with the seasonal changes, and to become one with the seasons and not fight it, but to follow that natural rhythm of life. And also orienting ourselves within Earth. We become so attached to like GPS and Google Maps and Waze, but it's maybe trying to know and understand where your geographical true north is, in your south, west, and east. And it's become familiar and more in touch with Earth in ways that'll just help you connect more with her. And for some, that might be gardening. For some, it might be doing these intentional meditations to get to the core of Earth. But either way, it starts with the realization that we are Earth. Because the idea is not to escape Earth. It's not to escape this third dimensional reality. It's to really be part of it. And once we are able to fully embody, accept, and embrace and cherish this reality that we're on, which is Earth, then we will be able to bring heaven on Earth, right? The term isn't bringing Earth to heaven. We're bringing heaven on Earth. So a new Earth cannot exist without a new heaven, without a new consciousness. This shift into the new Earth, it begins with the shift in our consciousness. And by shifting our consciousness on the internal level, it will manifest itself outwardly. So to shift into a new Earth, we have to become a new human. As we begin to deepen our consciousness, we will begin to shift ourselves, and we will begin to become a new human. And a new human will become multiple new humans, which becomes a collective, which will then be the representation of a new Earth.